Okay. All right. Let me see here. I think we are up. Hello. Oh, wow. There's already 38 people here. Hello. Hello. How is everybody tonight? Let's see. Aiden, hello. Evan, hello. Joseph, hello. Ted, hello. Lusitania, I'm here. I'm here. Let's see. Let's see. From Aiden. Hey, Sam, do your research on the paddle steamer General Stockholm. It's on the list. Hello, everybody. Hey, hey, hey. Rebecca, hello. Bobby, hello. Ash, hello. The Shining, hello. Ooh, creepy movie. How is everybody tonight? Hunter, I'm doing well. How are you, Hunter? Holy cow, it's already going crazy. Okay. I try to go for as long as I can before I have to enable slow mode, but there we go. It's already going to happen. Oh, Millie, welcome to the stream. I see you, Millie. How are things over where you are? DJB, hello. Lee, hello. Ocean Liner, hello. King, hello. Oh. Okay, I want you guys to see something. So I took Rosie to the park just before I went live, and it's really rainy here today. So I took her to the park. She saw a creek, and well, Rosie, can you look how wet she is? She just jumped head right into a creek. Look at her. She's such a mess. And when she sees water, she absolutely loses her mind and just face plants into it. Hi, Rosie. I know. Rosie, I'll scratch you later. Let's see here. Clay, hello. TD, hello. Let's see. Georgia, welcome to the stream. Rosie, yep, she's right here. Rosie's she's a little rowdy tonight. Ash, she is too cute. Thanks so much. She's my baby. Let's see. Tracy, new here. Love the channel. Welcome to the channel, Tracy. Means a lot. Retro, good to see you, man. Good to see you too, Retro. The Crazy Family. How old is Rosie? She's 3. She is 3 years old. Let's see. CB Punk. Hello. How are you? Maritime history. Could you tell me quick the summary of what caused the soul to sink? The soul to sink. SEW. I'm not familiar with that ship off the top of my head. I know I know that name off it. Is that? Oh, that's that Korean ferry, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Okay, I just Googled it. Didn't it hit a rock or something? Or didn't it hit like a reef? Or it hit something. I'd have to double check a little bit, but I'll have to take a look into it. Georgia, nice shirt, Sam. Thanks, Georgia. It's a new one. This was a birthday present. I really like it. Let's see. How does 007 do it? Shaken, not stirred. How's that? How's that for my 007 impression? Oh boy. Jonathan, welcome to the stream. Thanks so much, man. Good evening, Sam. Good evening, Jonathan. Thank you for the first super chat of the night, and a big one too. Wow, thanks so much. Quick question. All right, I'm ready. Have you tried the Mafia Titanic mod? If not, I highly recommend it. Okay, believe it or not, I have never played a Mafia game. I guess I need to check it out. I have not researched it. I don't know anything. Oh, hang on a second. Hold on. You always forget something. But yeah, I have not played any of the Mafia games, and I honestly don't know anything about them. That is a game series, right? I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, I'll look into it. I'll take a look whenever the stream is over. And somebody else mentioned the whole Mafia Titanic mod thing. So I will make sure to check that out as soon as I get a chance. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And that is one heck of a super chat too. Thanks so much. SNL Productions. Hey, Sam, will you make a Carpathia sinking video? I'm going to do an entire Carpathia series. Yeah, I'm going to do a bunch of videos on the Carpathia. But yes, I will cover the sinking. Well, probably what I'll do with the Carpathia is do the role it played on the night the Titanic went down. And then I'll also do a video dedicated to just the sinking and what happened to it. So that's what I'm going to do. Hunter, Sam, will you ever go to Japan? I hope so. I mean, I really do want to go to Japan someday. It's just with everything going on in the world and everything, it'll happen when it happens. You know what I mean? But I know a little bit of Japanese, so hopefully I know enough to get my point across, I believe. Hang on, let me think. Hajime mashite, watashi wa Samu desu. Let's see. Oh, another super chat from Caleb. Thank you so much, Caleb. 5, thank you so much. Hey, Sam, I'm from the Discord. Awesome. And I gave a decent warning before the super chat, but do you think you can do the War of the Bucket? War of the Bucket. I do not know what that is. Hang on. War War of the Bucket. Let me see here. The War of the Bucket was Oaken Bucket was fought in 1325. That explains why I've never heard of it. Between the rival city stages of Bulgaria and Modena. I hope I said that right. It took place in the region of Emilia in northern Italy. Huh. Interesting. So, like, do something that isn't. This would be another non-maritime video, like my Pompeii video. You know what? Not a bad idea, Caleb. I will add that to my ever-growing list. And I did see the poll topic for whoa, what is it? There we go. I did see that the winner for the contest for my poll was the Titanic disaster predicted. So I guess that'll be the next topic. Let's see here. We got $2 from Sebastian. Thank you so much. Are you just going to do ship videos? Well, my primary theme on this channel is maritime stuff. But on occasion, I'm going to branch out into other stuff. If you take a look at my channel's history, I did do a video on Pompeii a while back. Let's see. We got 5 from Gina. Thank you so much, Gina. Hi, Sam. Love your channel. Thank you so much, Gina. The support means a lot. Let's see. Okay, Chippers 5. Thank you so much. So saw your last video. Do modern ships have cats for pest control? And can we see the Titanic hull? I can go get it. But as far as modern ships, I don't believe they use cats. I think we're beyond that. But who knows for certain? But I've been on several cruise ships and I've never seen cats. What about cargo ships? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt ships now have cats on board. But I could be wrong. But thank you so much for the 5. And the Titanic hull, 1 second. Right here. So this is my piece of Titanic coal. It's in a different kind of box. So Titanic Collector's Edition, April 10th, April 15th. Little certificates printed onto the back of it. And it's in this little plastic baggy thing. So that is Titanic coal. That is my Titanic coal. Did have and it was pulled. This fragment of Titanic coal came from this that they recovered from the wreck. So this is what they pulled up from the Atlantic, and this is a small part of that. So yeah, there's my Titanic coal. Bada boom. Thought I had that. Luckily, I kept that downstairs. All my other Titanic and Olympic stuff is upstairs. Let's see, King. Hey, big fan. Thank you so much, King. It's fun being able to watch videos on, say, Grudge or Watch Mojo, thanks to you, and being able to dispute what they say. Any chance for a full White Star vid, namely the aftermath of the Titanic? Actually, I did that. Now, I haven't done a whole White Star Line history video. Good grief, that'd be a very hard topic to cover. But shoot, I did do a video on the aftermath of the Titanic disaster. And I also talk about Ismay because, Ismay gets a lot of grief for, like, they say that he caused the disaster, or it was his fault that the Titanic went down, when honestly, nothing could be further from the truth. Ismay was kind of an scapegoat. You know what I mean? So listen, if you've watched my Costa Concordia video, I don't have any problem with calling people out. As far as I'm concerned, Captain Scatino is no captain. He was the captain of the Costa Concordia, and he did cause that disaster. And then what does he do? He trips and falls into a lifeboat. And not only that, he has time to go back to his room while the ship is sinking, change out of his captain's uniform, and gets into a suit and tie or whatever he put on, just so he would blend in with the passengers. I mean, that is not a captain. That is not a captain. Oh, Georgia, here we go. That is not a captain. So trust me. Ismay was definitely not at fault for the Titanic disaster, but I do get why he didn't look good to the public's eye. But if you want to watch that video, it is all on my channel. But thank you for the super chat, by the way. The cutting room floor, $5. Thank you so much. If Britannic stayed still, wouldn't sink. But how would they save her close the windows and move slow? My coworker loved the cat story. I'm a vet tech. That's awesome, cutting room floor. Yes, so with 6 watertight compartments compromised, the Britannic could stay afloat if the ship remained motionless. Now, as far as how they would save her, I'm not really sure how all that would work. But if you wanted my best guess, I would just say that I bet they could move the ship very slowly. That would be my best guess. So, because even with 6, what you guys have to realize is even if a ship isn't going to sink, with the first 6 watertight compartments breached on Britannic, the bow would be like, say my fingers are the waterline, the bow would still dip down a good bit. So like the Britannic would kind of be sitting in the water like this. So, I mean, as long as they move the ship very slowly, you know, the biggest problem is if any water gets onto the bow and like all these areas, because there's ways, if the water gets over the top of over the front of the ship, there's ways for water to get inside the ship. You know, you definitely don't want water getting over the front bow deck section. So it's just, you have to, it's a very light balance. It's a very even, you just have to be very careful. So it's a tough thing to say, but I'd say that they would be able to do it. Bolt, just move slow. Bolt, will you ever cover the car on the Titanic? I will talk about that at some point, but the one thing about the car on the Titanic that most people don't know is it wasn't in one piece like we see in the James Cameron movie. From the way I understand it, the car on the Titanic was in pieces and it was crated up. So the way you see it in the James Cameron movie isn't accurate. And I know that James Cameron, when they dived the wreck in 2001, they looked for the car and I think they found parts of it, because there's a segment or a shot, like a scene in a documentary, where you plain as day, I don't care what planet you're on, you see a tire and you see a fender. So I bet that was a part of it. But one thing that is so creepy about the James Cameron Ghost of the Abyss, they were down at the wreck of the Titanic on September 11th, 2001. So like they were actually at the Titanic in submarines underwater when the September 11th attacks occurred. And when they came up from the wreck and surfaced, they learned about that horrible event. I mean, can you just imagine being at the site of a horrible tragedy from 100 years ago, and then you come up and then an even worse tragedy had just occurred? You know, I mean, think about it. If you lived in 1912, Titanic was those people's 9/11, you know? Or if you lived in America during the 1940s, their 9/11 was Pearl Harbor, you know? So can you imagine coming up from a scene from 100 years ago that was an awful tragedy, and then we just had another horrible tragedy just happen? I mean, that's absolutely, I mean, I can't even imagine what that would be like. I mean, they even said in the documentary, it's like they didn't even know if they should continue their expedition anymore, because it's like Titanic didn't seem important after what just happened in New York. It's just crazy and very, very sad. And of course, while I get off on a talking spree, we get more super chats. Okay, let's catch up. 11-5, thank you so much. Why didn't the bulkheads go all the way up the ship? Do they on modern ships? Here's the thing to understand about the bulkhead system. And as I get asked this question all the time, by the laws of physics, water will not go above the tops of the bulkheads and spill over because let's say the Titanic hit 4 watertight compartments, okay? And then the bow of the ship started to go down. The ship would stabilize before the Titanic's bow got so low that the water inside the ship would be able to spill over the tops of the bulkheads. Water will not go higher inside of a ship than the water is on the outside. That's how physics works. So if 4 compartments were breached, the Titanic's bow wouldn't go low enough for the water to be able to spill over the tops of the bulkheads. But with 5 compartments breached, it would happen. The bow would go down so low that the water would just be able to spill over the tops of the bulkheads and go back and back as the bow continued to sink even more, and big chain reaction. And as far as if they seal off the bulkheads on modern ships, I am not sure about that. I mean, I'm sure the watertight compartments on modern day ships are better, but I don't know if they would completely close them off or not. I mean, I'd have to look into it. I've never really thought about it, to be honest with you. But you got to remember the Costa Concordia, didn't it sink with 3 compartments breached? I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it was like 3 compartments and Costa Concordia went down. Let's see. And here we go again. Okay. Great question, by the way. Caleb 10, thank you so much. Sam, have you heard of Ben L. Simone, a dentist from World War II, I hope I said that name right, who made a last stand in the Pacific Theater defending his patients? He single-handedly took out 100 enemy combatants. Seriously? I have not heard of him. Hang on, let's do the, actually, we are kind of, I can look real quick because I don't want to get too far behind on the super chats. Let's take a look here. Ben L. Simone, World War II, dentist, assigned to the frontline surgeon. Interesting. I will take a look more into this when I get a chance, but I will go ahead and add this to the list as well so I can check on it later. But no, I've never heard of him. That is very interesting. I saved the link, and thank you for the 10, by the way. He took out 100 enemy combatants. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But hey, thank you for the super chat, and I will look more into that later. Okay. We got 5 from Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. It's 20 years since the last dive. Wow, I just turned 20 and I feel... Actually, no, it hasn't been 20 years since the last dive. That was when... What? What is it? What? Rosie, you just went for a walk. You're okay, okay? We'll play in a little bit. All right, come on, Rosie. I know. I swear, she was outside for so long. I don't know why she's still being like this. Let's see. But yeah, there's actually a dive. What? Yes. Come on. Go. I don't think that worked. But yeah, the last dive is actually here recently in the past month or two. As far as I know, they just concluded a dive, and yeah, they still dived the Titanic. But I know before that, 2019 was the last dive in 10 years, I think, maybe longer. I'm not sure exactly. Bolt, OMG, you answered me. Hi, Bolt. Let's see. Thank you for the 5, by the way. Wait, was that a 5? Yeah, 5. Okay. Jim, 10, thank you so much. Hi, Sam. Keep up the great work, friend. It would be cool to meet you someday. Yeah, maybe, Jim. I'm not sure where you are, but just keep your eye out because I travel around a bit, and I usually announce if I'm going to be traveling somewhere. Like I'm traveling to LA at the end of the month. So I might do like a little announcement like, hey, I'm going to be at the Queen Mary filming or something. I know that I can't board the Queen Mary right now, but I do plan to go and visit the ship and take pictures and video it from the outside. I'm going to LA for a conference at the end of the month. So, but yeah, just keep your eye out, Jim. And if I'm ever close to you or whatever, just keep your eye out for like an announcement or a post, and then I'll usually respond like, hey, I'll be here, and if you want to come and say hi, I'll be here at this time. So that'd probably be the best way to meet me. But Jim, make sure you come to the Discord, man, because I'm pretty active on there, and that's the best way to contact me privately. You just got to catch me when I'm online. But Jim, it would be very cool to meet you someday. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the super chat. And of course, while I'm talking again, more come in. Okay, Jack, 10, thank you so much. Hey, Sam, big fan. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for the 10. The Olympic lost a propeller blade in 1912. Do you think it's possible to locate and recover? Quick fact, Captain Smith was born a 10 to 15-minute drive away from my house. That's crazy. You know something? I never even thought about that. The Olympic did throw a propeller blade, and I believe it was traveling from New York to Southampton at the time. I think I'm remembering that right. That would be incredibly difficult. That'd be so hard to find, incredibly difficult to find. But I'll bet you anything that propeller is still down there. And I bet you it's still in good condition, but the trick would be to find it. Huh. Yeah, I do think it would be possible to recover it if we could just find it. But you got to think about how big the Atlantic is, and they're looking for one propeller blade. I mean, that would be like a needle in a haystack kind of thing. But yeah, I'd say it would be theoretically possible to find it if you just had very sensitive equipment and could look for it. How you would get it up from the bottom of the ocean, though, that'd be difficult as well. But theoretically, yeah, it's possible. That's awesome. Quick fact, that's so cool that Captain Smith was born close to your house. Jack, thank you so much for the super chat. An awesome question. Let's see. Doggy. Garth, 5, thank you so much. What if you put the list on the community tab so everyone can see what's on it? What about adding the Hudson Bay plane crash from a few years ago? Interesting. The Hudson Bay plane crash. And I might be able to upload it so everybody can look at it. Hang on. Hudson Bay plane crash. Oh, the Miracle of the Hudson. Okay. The way you said it like threw me off a little bit. But yeah, the Miracle of the Hudson is definitely something I am going to be covering. The Hudson, the way Sully landed that airplane and everything, and how everything happened. My sister's husband, he used to be a pilot, and he was talking about how if that plane had come in any less than perfect, that whole thing could have been a disaster, and there could have been a huge loss of life. I mean, honestly, it really is the Miracle of the Hudson. That's for darn sure. And definitely, I do want to cover that. I've actually thought about covering that in the past. Let's see. Hudson Bay plane crash. That is unbelievable. And thank you for that awesome idea. And thank you for the super chat. And I'll see about uploading the list somewhere so everybody can look at it. That's a good idea. I never really thought about that. Let's see. Hey, Sam. Sorry. Is this let's see. Is this Leechy? I can't tell. But hey, Sam, sorry I can't donate more. How's you? Hi, thank you so much. I think that's Lychee. Can't tell for sure. But yeah, thank you so much, man. I'm doing good. And hey, don't ever apologize for donating, man. Listen, any contribution helps. It really does help support the channel. And it's because of the support of all of you that I'm even able to do this for a job. So, I mean, honestly, if you want to donate, you want to contribute, no matter how much it is, listen, I appreciate you guys. I mean, seriously, just thank you all so much, because it's only because of you guys I can do this for a job. And the support means a ton. But thank you so much for the super chat. Let's see here. And of course, they disappear on me. Boom, boom. Let me find it. Okay, there's that one. Phil, 5, thank you so much. Can you see evidence of the Titanic hitting the iceberg on the wreck of the Titanic? 5 from Phil. Okay, Phil, that's a good question. I have heard, I believe it was Kent Layton, who wrote On a Sea of Glass, said that they did find some evidence of iceberg damage on the wreck. Now, I've never seen it personally. Like, I've never seen a picture that shows the exact spot that this is iceberg damage. But what you have to remember, the iceberg hit the front sections of the Titanic, okay? Like all the way to about after the first funnel. It was a bunch of small little indents and holes all along the hull. And when the bow hit the bottom, the bow of the Titanic is dug in all the way up to the anchor. So I don't know if you guys can see it, but that right there, that little tiny speck right there, there's the anchor, okay? So the bow is that far dug in. Like it's sitting at the bottom like this. So all the iceberg damage at the front is completely buried. And then the further aft you go, the more of the actual Titanic's hull is sticking out. So the only part of the iceberg iceberg damage that we could theoretically see is right down here along the base of the first funnel. And I believe Ken Layton said that there is some iceberg damage visible, but I've never seen it. And it would be very hard to spot because of all the corrosion and everything else that's happened to the wreck. So to answer your question, theoretically, yes, you might be able to see something, but at the same time, it would be difficult to spot and say for certain that this was iceberg damage. Because you also have to think about how much strain the hull went through when it hit the seafloor. 11-5, thank you so much. Sam, are you aware of any descendants of the officers on the Titanic? Not really. Like, I don't know of who they are exactly. I mean, I know they're alive, but I remember that I did my best to try to track down who were the descendants of Thomas Andrews, like who are the descendants that are still alive today. And I tried to find them, like not like go and hunt them down personally, but like I tried to use the internet to track down who they were. And I went on Wikipedia because Wikipedia shows you like who they were married to, who their children were. But then from what I found, at a certain point, it's like you can't see anymore. Like you can't track down anymore because I guess like it's a privacy thing, which I understand. But yeah, so it's as far as I know, it'd be difficult to find them. But I do know they're still alive. But there's a lot of descendants from the Titanic that are still alive. It's just the last person who was on the ship who was alive, her name was Melina Dean. And I believe she was 3 months old when it happened. And she passed away in 2011, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me know in the chat if I'm right. I'm pretty sure it was 2011 when she passed away. So, but yeah, the descendants are still alive. I believe Hershey, like Mr. Hershey, like Hershey's chocolate, I believe he was supposed to be on board Titanic. Daniel 5, thank you so much. Had Titanic survived her collision with the iceberg, how would they go about towing and then repairing the ship? Also, would love to meet you in LA. Oh, that's awesome, Daniel. You're in LA. I'm actually going there for a event called Vid Summit. I'm doing that at the end of the month. But yeah, just keep your eye out, man, because I would love to meet some people. If you're in LA and I'm around and everything, please, I'd love to meet you. And I will make an announcement. Like probably the best way to meet me will be when I go to visit the Queen Mary. And I'll just put an announcement up like a couple of days in advance, like, hey, I'll be at the Queen Mary at this time. If you want to come and say hi, I'll be here. So yeah, that's probably what we'll do. And that'd be awesome, Daniel. I would love to meet you. And had the Titanic survived her collision with the iceberg, how would they go about towing/repairing? So if the Titanic had its first 4 compartments breached, the ship's bow would be low. But as far as I know, the ship would still be able to proceed to New York, just probably more slowly. And that's what I think what would happen is they would just slowly move the ship towards New York. Now, I've also speculated that if only 5 watertight compartments were breached, remember, if 5 watertight compartments on the Titanic are completely flooded, the ship is going to sink. That's what's going to happen. But I've speculated that if there were only 5 compartments breached and not 6, and the crew could have spent all their effort trying to hold back the water in boiler room 6 and not 5, which was the 6th compartment. I theorize that maybe they could have been, it might have been possible to keep the ship afloat a little bit longer, or maybe prevent the sinking entirely. It's just if they put all their effort into holding back the water in 6 and they didn't have to work in 5, maybe. And you also have to remember that there was a pump in boiler room 6. Boiler room 6, the Titanic's 5th compartment, was the only compartment at the front of the ship that had a working pump. So any watertight compartments further back, they had to run hoses from the back of the ship where most of the pumps were and run hoses to the front of the ship to help deal with the flooding. So it's an idea. It's a theory, So if 5 compartments were breached, it would be very difficult to move the ship, but maybe they could have figured something out. That's my theory. And I just say with 4, they just move the ship very slowly. But hey, thank you for the 5, Daniel. I appreciate. And are we all... okay. I think we are all caught up now. Awesome. We're all caught up. Let's see. Pen, I'm not sure what I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, Don, happy Sunday, Sam. Happy Sunday, Don. Oh, wow, we're all caught up on the super chats. That's awesome. Hi, Rosie. Let's see. Dumb, can you make a video on the Morro Castle? It was a Cuban liner that caught on fire in 1934, killing 150 passengers. I have never... Hold on, sorry. Oh, there was a 5 I missed, and I had to mute that. Let's see. Oh, cringy. Okay. I'm looking for it. Let's see. Cringy, there's your 5. Okay, I got it. I see it. Okay, can you please pronounce these things? Oh. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do all those pronunciations or anything. But hey, thank you so much for the super chat. Your friends use these names. Okay, but yeah, nope, I'm not going to do that. But cringy, thank you for the 5. I'm not going to do any kind of weird word games or anything. But thanks for the super chat. Let's see. Data. Hi, Sam. Hey, Data. You made me think of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Data. Let's see. Mr. Lusitania, do a video on the Queen Elizabeth on 1973 when she sank. I'm going to do a dedicated video on the Queen Elizabeth, but in 1973, is that when the fire happened? And wasn't she the Seawise University? Seawise University? I believe that's what it was. Am I right? Was that what the Queen Elizabeth was called back then? Let's see. Chad S. $5. Thank you so much, Chad. Aaron 1912 now has a theory that female... Oh, boy. Okay, here we go. Aaron 1912 now has a theory that female aliens from Venus were involved in the sinking of the Titanic. They took a bite out of the hull. Can you confirm or deny? Okay, well, I will say this. I learned from... hang on. I have it right here. 1 sec. Yep. I learned from the incredible book based on The Martian about an astronaut who was stuck on Mars and had to survive. This is the book that inspired the movie with Matt Damon. But I learned from this book that apparently probes from the planet Venus like to turn around and attack humans. And he learned this when he was trying to recover the Pathfinder probe. But he said that the Pathfinder probe didn't try to hurt him, so... it is very possible that spacecraft like to turn around and attack the humans that made them. So maybe aliens from Venus came and did something to the Titanic. But if it's Aaron 1912, that is very interesting. I still would like to know how he came up with. I think Aaron 1912 is just a attention getter as far as I'm concerned. But me and Jordan from Titanic Animations talked about that as well. Kim, sorry, just had to leave a like. Hey, Kim, thank you so much. Thank you for the 5, by the way, Chad. That means a lot, man. Lee, hey, did your sister enjoy your Starbucks mocha? Well, I can see her starting to do mochas in her videos. Is she? Is she starting to drink mochas in her videos? I haven't seen all of them, but oh gosh, yeah. So she comes over. She's like, Sam, we got to film this video. I'm like, okay, we'll film a video. And then I come upstairs, and what's she doing? She's got one of my mochas. I'm like. But me and my sister get along good, and she was teasing. And of course, I don't care if she drinks some of my mocha. I don't care. Those Starbucks mochas, though, they're kind of pricey. They are definitely not cheap. Anastasia 5, thank you so much. Do you think you would ever do a episode on the Normandie orphans from the Titanic? Normandie? Hang on. Let me see here. I don't think I'm pronouncing that word right, but let's take a look here. The Normandie orphans from Titanic. Hi, Rosie. I know you're here. From Titanic. Let's see. Let's see. June 12, 1908 to January 2001 was one of the last hours of the sinking of the Titanic. He, along with his brother Edmund, known as the Titanic orphans, having been the only children rescued without a parent or guardian. Really? I have never heard of these. Oh, how have I not heard of these? Very interesting. I am definitely adding this to the list, and I am definitely going to do a video about that. That is incredibly interesting. Wow, I never even knew about these. Hey, thank you so much for that super chat, Anastasia. That means a lot. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow. Listen, it's like I tell you guys all the time. You guys enjoy my videos and the stuff that I teach you. You guys teach me just as much as I teach you. I mean, seriously, guys, this channel would not exist without all of your guys' support. I mean, honestly, it just all these incredible ideas. I mean, you guys are what keeps me going. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Cutting room floor, $2. Thank you. Oh, and thank you again, Anastasia. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for the great idea. Did the Californian sink? Yes, it did. I can't find info on it. It did sink, although the details of it, I don't know it off the top of my head. If I remember correctly, I believe it was torpedoed. I'm pretty sure it was torpedoed. Hang on a second. SS Californian. If you check the Wikipedia page, it should say its fate. Yep, sunk by a German U-boat on the 9th of November, 1915. It was actually not too far from Greece. Wow. Excuse me. But yes, it did sink. And thank you for the super chat. Let's see. Olivia, 10. Thank you so much, Olivia. I've heard a story that some of the men from Titanic wore dresses and disguised themselves as women to get off the Titanic. Is there some truth to that? I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I believe that there was one account of that. That's what I'm thinking of off the top of my head. I can't remember who it was. I don't know the details around it, and I could be wrong about this. But as far as based on what I remember, I believe there was only one person who did that. But if anybody else knows more, please let me know in the chat, because that would be a good video topic, actually. Did any men dress up as women to try to get into some of the lifeboats? Huh, interesting. But yeah, I thought it was more widespread. Like I thought more people. I thought it was something that several men did, but I believe it was only one, if I'm remembering correctly. Hang on. Did men dress up as women to get in lifeboats? I will definitely look into that a little bit more. But yeah, double check me on that, guys. I'm pretty sure that's right, but I'm not 100% certain. Okay. And okay, thank you, Olivia, for the 10. Tanya, 10, thank you so much. Hey, Sam, are you going to visit the Titanic Museum in Vegas? If you are, is there going to be a video? Absolutely, if I'm allowed to film. If I'm allowed to film, I absolutely do want to do a video on it. The museum video, when I went to the Titanic Museum in Orlando, did great. And I even got a couple of comments from members who worked there. I believe even the owner of the museum saw my video, which honestly, it meant a lot. And my favorite moment from that whole museum was when I was going down Scotland Road and I met that member of the Titanic's crew, and like the guy who worked there, and I was talking to him and everything, and I mean, he knew his stuff. He did. And I'm like, okay, sir. Well, hey, thank you so much for your help. And I'm like, what was your name? He went, Second Officer Charles Lightoller. I'm like, okay, I was not expecting that. I thought you were going to tell me your real name, but I'm like, okay, I just met Lightoller. But yes, I'm definitely going to visit the museum in Vegas. I've never been to Vegas, but I did fly over it a while back. Okay, guys, I'm really sorry to do this to you guys. I'll be away from my camera for about 1 minute. Rosie is whining at the door. She really wants to go out. So give me 1 minute, guys. I promise I'll be right back. I'm sorry. And I'm back. Okay, I'm back. I don't know why she had to go so bad, but she had to go. All right, let's see. Let's get back to the super chats. But yes, I'm definitely going to come to Vegas, and I'm sorry I had to step away, guys. Let's see. Chippers 2, thank you so much. Well, here's a little bit for the Mocha Fund. Thanks so much, Chippers. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 2. Let's see. Okay. Whoa. Okay, let's get back to the chats here. I believe we are all caught up. There's one. Okay, 5 from Tina. Thank you so much. Hi, Sam. Can you do an episode on the Rubate Book of Poems? And there was a myth that there was an Egyptian mummy traveling on the Titanic. As far as doing a video on a book of poems, I'm not really sure about that. That's not exactly something that I do. I can look into it, though. But as far as the whole mummy on the Titanic thing, that was a complete myth. There was some, I made a video talking all about that. Like, it was a dedicated video to just about the conspiracies of the Titanic disaster and everything. It was a dedicated video just about that. And I talked about the mummy and the origins of where that story came from. It came from one guy, and I believe that there was a curse, or like there was a legend or a conspiracy at the time that there was a mummy's curse or something that was going on, and people blamed that for anything bad that happened in London. And then based on that, somebody spread a story that there was a mummy on the Titanic, and that's why it sank. So as far as I know, that's how all of that went down. But yeah, something like that. But hey, thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And sorry again, guys, I had to step away from the camera. I really hate to do that. But Rosie had to go out, so she was whining. Like, I mean, I could hear her plain as day. She's like, take me out now. And I just took her for a big walk. I can't believe she already had to go again. Let's see. Night Rider. Hey, Night Rider. Welcome to the stream. Hey, Sam, is the Andrea Gail video in the works? Andrea Gail video. I haven't started working on that yet, but it is on the list, and I am going to cover that. So just hang tight. But thank you so much for being here, man. Thank you for the support. Let's see. Just Crad, what do you think about the Britannic movie? I've never seen it. I've only seen scenes of it. But I do need to watch it at some point. But I've heard it was iffy. I've heard it wasn't the best movie in the world. But let's see here. Vinyl. Hey, hello, Captain Sam. Hello, Vinyl. Let's see. If you had to pick one ship you talk about on your videos, which one would you sail on? And if you worked on one of these ships, what would you want to do as a job? Well, it would be cool to work on the Titanic, but I wouldn't want to be there for the sinking. I haven't made a dedicated video about it yet. I mean, I've made a couple of short ones, but honestly, probably the Queen Mary. I think it'd be really cool to work on the Queen Mary and experience that ship's life. And if I had a job on board, what would I want to do? I'd like to be one of the ship's officers, I don't know if I'd want to be captain or anything, but I think it'd be cool to be one of the ship's officers, just help run things and everything. Might be cool to be a ship's chef, but I can't really cook that well, so that probably wouldn't be good. But yeah, anyway, a variety of things, you know what I mean? But thank you for the question. Elliot, 5 super chat. Thank you so much. This is the first time I've ever done a super chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to Vegas at the end of October, and I'm thinking about going to the museum. Mocha Fun Plus. Thank you so much, Elliot. I really appreciate it. And that's so cool you're going to Vegas. Elliot, do me a favor. When you go, please join my Discord. And I would love it if you would post some pictures from it so I could actually see a little bit about the museum, because I believe that the biggest part of the big piece was there. I believe of the big piece of the hall that they recovered. That's so strange to me. That is so strange that one of the biggest artifacts recovered from the Titanic is out west. It's a weird location for there to be a part of the Titanic. So, but yeah, anyway, thank you so much. And I will definitely make a video about that when I go out there. And I would definitely encourage you to go to the museum. Knight Rider, salute to Sam. Haha. That's awesome. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Sweet. What is your favorite fact about the Queen Mary? My favorite fact about the Queen Mary, probably the whole thing that Churchill said about the Queen Mary, that the ship shortened the war by 1 year. And think about this. The Queen Mary was such a huge help to the Allies in getting troops over to Europe, for the war effort, that it made Hitler personally put out a bounty for the ship. I mean, that just tells you how much of an influence the Queen Mary made in our fight to defeat Nazi Germany. Just the fact that it made Hitler that mad. I mean, that really says a lot about how well built a vessel is and what it did to help the Allies win the war. And Churchill said the Queen Mary shortened the length of the war by 1 year. I mean, that's just so cool. And make sure you guys take a look at pictures of the Queen Mary, like during wartime, because I believe the maximum capacity of troops they had on the Queen Mary, at one time they had 15,000 troops on board. I'm pretty sure that was what that was. Brick ship, crap, I didn't know that. Knight Rider, well, I never knew that. Yeah, that's a crazy thing. That's just one of those things. I mean, Hitler told his U-boat captains, like, I mean, he put a bounty on the Queen Mary. I mean, he wanted the Queen Mary sunk. I mean, that just goes to show you how much of an influence that ship made. Isaac 5, thank you so much. I bet the next Transformers movie reveals the Titanic was a giant Autobot that sank after being attacked by Decepticons. You know what? That really wouldn't surprise me. I haven't watched a lot of the new Transformer movies. What was the last one I saw? Dark Side of the Moon, maybe? I can't remember. But yeah, it was that would be funny. That would be. The Titanic is itself if an iceberg sunk it, but you know. Garrett, did you know that the Queen Elizabeth sank did you know that the Queen Elizabeth sank? Okay, the fire near Hong Kong, and make a timeline on the Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth, please. And what is your impression on the V-break theory that is not true? Okay. I definitely do plan to do a video series on the Queen Elizabeth and the Queen Mary. The Queen Mary series is actually what I'm going to do after I'm done with the Olympic series. But as far as the whole V-break thing, makes no sense. Absolutely makes no sense. For those of you who don't know, I believe it was aired in 1912. But there's this there's a theory floating around that the Titanic did a V-break right in the middle, and then like both sections of the ship like broke like that, like the bow went up and so did the stern, and it dropped down. Hang on. Okay, and hang on, there was a. Okay, I see, Kenya, I see. I'll get your super chat in a second. But yeah, there was a that the ship did a V-break and sunk like that, which makes absolutely zero sense because of the whole Titanic, how the Titanic sunk. I mean, it makes no sense. And the whole V-break thing, it's another one of those stories where the guy who came up with it, he mixed in elements of truth to a lie to make it believable, which is the absolute worst thing you can do. And that's just like what a certain YouTube channel with a yellow light bulb for a title screen or channel logo does. And it's just, you know, if you're trying to tell a story and make it historically accurate and you get a little detail wrong, that's one thing. But when you basically try to mislead people, like a coal fire sunk the Titanic. Yes, the Titanic had a coal fire, but two, no, it had nothing to do with the sinking. But when you try to, you get what I'm trying to say. When you mix elements of truth with a lie to make your lie believable, that's not right. That's not right. I do not think that is right. Okay, let's see. Kenna, $2 video idea. The MV Jupiter. It exploded in 1990. The MV Jupiter. Hang on a second. MV Jupiter. Let's see. The Jupiter was a Greek registered cruise ship. Looks like a cargo ship that sank on October 21st, 1988, with 40 minutes leaving the port of Greece. Well, they say it was a cruise ship, but it looks like a freighter if this picture is what it is. MV Jupiter cargo ship. Huh. Well, hang on a second here. Let me do some digging. Okay, the picture, the Wikipedia didn't pull up anything. I'll definitely look into it a little bit more, and I will add it to the list. MV Jupiter. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, and I'll do some research. But thank you. Good video idea. Let's see. Okay. Kazi10, thank you so much. Hey, Sam. Okay, we're good. Hey, Sam, I remember I asked you about if you were going to do a series on the Queen Mary. I'm glad to hear you are, and I was wondering how deep into detail you were going to go into her story. Well, to be honest, I'm going to try to do the Queen Mary just like I did the Olympic. So as the Olympic one's still underway, I'm anticipating 2 more episodes with the Olympic. I've already started episode 8. About 3 minutes into the video, so I still have a good bit to do. I'm hoping if I can pull a rabbit out of my hat, I'm hoping to release the video tomorrow evening. But latest scenario will be Tuesday night. That'll be when the next Olympic series comes out. And then there will be 1 more episode on the Olympic. For those of you who want a little hint, I'm thinking about calling the next episode of the Olympic series Olympic in the Golden Years. You know, the golden years of the Olympic throughout the 1920s. Olympics rolled during the Roaring 20s. And then that'll be that episode. And then the last episode of the Olympic will be about the stock market crash and the Olympics' eventual retirement and scrapping. So that's kind of how I'm going to do that. And then after that, I'm going to tackle a few more videos from the list stuff. And then probably the next couple of weeks, I'll start the Queen Mary series. And I definitely do plan to go and document the Queen Mary when I'm in LA at the end of the month for the Queen Mary series. That's part of a reason why I'm decided to do Queen Mary next. And everybody voted for that in a poll topic. But yeah, so that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do a complete timeline, just like I did with the Olympic. But Kazi, thank you so much for the super chat. The 10 means a lot. And Olivia, 5, thank you so much. I need to do a video on the SS America. It's on the list. I'm definitely going to cover that, Olivia. And thank you so much for the 5. Hang on a second here. Wow, here come more super chats. Okay, I need to do SS America. Joseph, 5, thank you so much. Hi, have you heard of the SS Normandie? Will you ever make a video about it? Yes, the Normandie is on the list, and I am definitely going to cover the Normandie. How can I have a ship channel and not cover the Normandie? Of course, I'm covering the Normandie. Joseph, thank you for the 5. I'm definitely going to do a video. Jack, 10, thank you so much. The Queen Mary was hit by a rogue wave during her World War II service, rolled 52 degrees and nearly capsized. Lusitania also took substantial damage to her bridge from a rogue wave. I knew about the one from the Lusitania. You know, the Lusitania got hit with a rogue wave. I believe, didn't the Lusitania sail into it? Like the wave hit and kind of exploded up like that, if I remember correctly. I learned that from the book Dead Wake. Dead Wake is one of the best videos about the Lusitania. It's the best book. I don't know if I said video. Anyway, but yes, the Lusitania is definitely an interesting ship and definitely an interesting story. And I definitely encourage you guys to read Dead Wake because it's the amount of detail that goes into it. And there was a passenger on the Lusitania. I forget his name, and this is a distant memory, but because I read the book years ago. But I remember that he had spent like 10 years or something working on a book, like writing a book. He had one draft of the book. It wasn't done yet. He was nearly done. He was going to wait to publish it after the Lusitania made it to Europe or something like that. And I mean, remember, okay, he has one copy of this book. He spent 10 years on it. It's on the Lusitania. And he lost that when the ship went down. I mean, can you just imagine spending 10 years of your life on something and then just gone just like that? I mean, but yeah, I didn't know about the Queen Mary rogue wave, but I did know about the Lusitania one. Jack, thank you so much for the 10. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Elliot, I went to Pearl Harbor recent. Would you want photos? Yes, please. I would love to see it, especially if you've got pictures of the Arizona. I would love to see that. Elliot, please join my Discord. Thank you so much, and thank you for the 2. Are we caught up? There we go. Let's see. Caleb, 20. Thank you so much. Have you heard of the Battle of Rorke's Drift from the Anglo-Zulu War? It is a piece of British military genius which happened immediately after the greatest military disaster at the Battle of... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But no, I have not heard of that. But thank you so much for the 20. Hang on a second. Let me see here. The Battle... I'm guessing you like these... is this an old war? Like ancient, like past 500-600 years? Let's take a look here. Copy and paste. The Battle of Rorke's Drift. Oh, actually, no. Battle of Rorke's Drift, January 22nd, 1879 through January 23rd, 1879. Also known as the Defense of Rorke's Drift, was an engagement in the Anglo-Zulu War. Okay, I don't know anything about this, but I will definitely add this to the list because you said it was a big act of genius for the battle, so I will definitely research this. Who knows, maybe this will get a topic on the list on my series of videos as well. Thank you so much for the 20. I've got it saved. Thank you so much, man. That really means a lot. And I will definitely check it out. Thank you so much, Caleb. I appreciate you, man. Joseph, 5. Thank you so much, Joseph. Any credence to the theory? Wow, my context just killed me for a second. Any credence to the theory that J.P. Morgan sank the Titanic to get rid of his bidwigs that were opposing his Federal Reserve banking system? No. That's another one of those conspiracies that J.P. Morgan wanted the Titanic sunk. Just think about, like, okay, the thing about all those conspiracies is there's conspiracies for anything. And when anytime something that seems impossible, like the sinking of the Titanic, people always point to some kind of conspiracy or something else going on. I mean, if they wanted to sink the Titanic as some kind of big conspiracy or cover-up, there's 1,000 other ways to do something than to have the ship hit an iceberg in the middle of the North Atlantic. And also, I mean, it's just There's no way that happened. You know, I mean, all those conspiracies and everything. I mean, if you really dive into them and study them, they don't make sense. And people look for lines to connect that aren't there. You know what I mean? And it's just like any other lie, you know, like a coal fire sunk the Titanic. Titanic had a coal fire, but ships were built to deal with them because coal fires were common at the time, you know, and it had nothing to do with the disaster. And it's just, you get what I'm trying to say. People always look to make connections to something that, you know, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And also, I don't believe there was even anybody really on board that actually opposed that, you know. I remember I talked about that in my conspiracy video. I'll have to go back and double check it because these are old memories. But I know that like Isidore and Ida Strauss were supposedly somebody that in the conspiracy that they wanted to get rid of. But Isidore and Ida Strauss made no comment on the Federal Reserve thing. You know, they made no comment on it. And was it John Jacob Astor who even said he was for it? I believe like, there was somebody else that they said that J.P. Morgan wanted to get rid of with the Titanic sinking. And that person was pro the Federal Reserve thing, not against it. So anyway, but yeah, just you got to be careful with that kind of stuff, you know. Let's see. Wise, how do I join the Discord? I will make sure to post a link to it after the live stream is over. Let me see here. Okay, there's that one. And we got another 2 from Christopher. The Jupiter was a Great Lakes oil tanker. That's what I thought from the quick Google search. It said it was a cruise ship, which doesn't make any sense to me, but I'll definitely take a look into it a little bit more when I have time. Thank you for the 2, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for the 2. Who was that? Christopher. Thank you. Let's see. Micktoon, hey, do you know me that I animated one of your videos? Also, can you make a video about the Carpathia? Micktoon, I believe I saw, I don't know if it was you, but I did see a comment that somebody animated one of my videos, and I did watch it, and it was pretty funny. I thought I left a comment on it. I don't know if that was you or not, but I did see something on it. But thanks, Micktoon. That's so cool, man. Be sure to post a link to it in the comment section for this video, and I'll check it out. Let's see. I need a drink. Whew. Time for the mocha. Delicious. Mocha is the best drink ever. Actually, you know what? Tea is awesome. And don't worry, it's nowhere near my computer. All right, let's see here. Let's see. Marge, Sam, who is the most unreliable witness to the Titanic disaster and who was the most reliable? Okay, that's a hard question because, you know, based on there's really no reason for anybody to lie about the Titanic disaster. You know, it's not like anybody was at fault and they have something to cover up. But based on where somebody was at the time of the sinking, their perception of things that happened could get distorted, like Second Officer Charles Lightoller. Lightoller said the Titanic sunk intact. It did not break in two. And so did Archibald Gracie. But were they lying? No, they weren't. And they were just saying what they thought happened based on where they were at the time. Because you have to remember, Lightoller was fighting for his life because he was sucked down, I believe it was on an air vent, because he was fighting for his life near Collapsible B. And then as the Titanic's final plunge was beginning, he got sucked down and was pinned up against like an air grate or something, like an air vent. And he said he was being held there and the flow of water rushing past him was holding him to the vent. And then something exploded within the ship and that pressure blew him off. So it's like, and I believe he got sucked down again and then he got free again. So the thing is, he wasn't in a position to see what the stern was doing, you know? And so that means he didn't lie, he thought it sunk intact. And the same thing with Archibald Gracie. Archibald Gracie was close to the Grand Staircase dome when the final plunge was beginning. And as the ship went down, Gracie saw this giant wave come washing up and he grabbed onto the side of the ship's railing to keep from being washed overboard. But that part of the ship kept submerging. So he's hanging onto this railing on the Titanic and it's underwater. Then he said he felt this huge suction drawing him down. And probably what that was, see this structure right here, this rectangle. For those of you who don't know, this is what housed the Grand Staircase dome. So probably what that was, and he was standing right around here when that wave came up. So it's most likely he is the only surviving witness to possibly say that the Grand Staircase dome imploded like we saw in the James Cameron film. Again, he wasn't, and he said the ship sunk intact. But once again, he just wasn't in a position to see what the stern was doing. So that's the whole thing. You know, it's a matter of perception. And I don't think anybody's really going into it and lying. It's just, what did they think they saw? You know what I mean? And yes, Charlie, both of those people did survive. Zachary, who is the last person to leave the Titanic? That's debatable. That is very debatable. If you believe his testimony, shoot, hang on a second. The name just Charles Yelkin. Charles Yelkin. If you believe his testimony, Charles Yelkin was the last person to leave the Titanic. Although I was talking to Jordan from Titanic Animations, and he told me that if you look into Charles Yelkin's testimony and some of his stories a little bit, he had a tendency to exaggerate. And you also have to remember that he was buzzed at the time. You know, he wasn't completely wasted, but he definitely had a few drinks in him. So as far as I know, he was the last supposed official person off, but I highly doubt it. I bet it was somebody else. So that's you take that with a grain of salt. Good question, by the way. Thank you so much for the 5, Zachary. Okay. Okay. 5 from Caleb again. Thank you, Caleb. Have you heard of the USS Maine from the beginning of the Spanish-American War? Wasn't that the ship that just exploded, and that's what started that war? I believe that's what it was. Hang on. USS Maine, like, didn't it explode in the harbor or something? But USS Maine. USS Maine, United States naval ship that sank in Havana Harbor in February 1898, contributing to the outbreak of the Spanish-American War. But I don't think it was a bomb, was it? I thought it was a boiler explosion, if I'm remembering correct. I'll have to look into this a little bit more, but I don't believe it was I don't think it was an attack. But if I'm wrong, let me know. I could be wrong about that. 5. Oh, wait, there was 2 from Caleb. Hang on a second. Hang on. USS Maine, and what's this other one? Oh, wow. What's up with that? That is weird. Huh, it's got Caleb's icon for both Zachary and Caleb. Huh, interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for that super chat. And I'll have to do more research into that. I'm looking at the article right now, but I'll just have to dig into it a little bit because there's a lot of information here. Wing Hung, remember the Maine. Yes. Wise, this is my first time here. Welcome to the live stream, Wise. Let's see. McToon, what if the Titanic never split? Good question. I've talked about that before. What if the Titanic didn't break in half? And basically, I think the ship would have continued to sink, and she might have lasted a little bit longer, but it's hard to say. The only reason the Titanic's bow was still relatively low in the water as the final plunge was beginning was due to the ship's center of mass, which is the engines that were close just behind the third funnel. And those engines were so heavy that it was helping keep the stern down. Now, if the ship didn't break in half, what I think would have happened was the ship would have continued to sink and then stay relatively low. I'd say the tilt would have gotten up to about 20, 25 degrees. And then as soon as the engines went under, the heaviest part of the ship, as soon as that went under and the Titanic continued to go down, I think the stern would have then went completely vertical because the heaviest part of the ship is already underwater. So that there wouldn't be any counterbalance holding the ship up and then holding the ship level. Then the stern would go up, and then she would just slowly probably do a spin and just drop down like that. That's my theory. Let's see here. Are we all caught up on the super chats? I believe we are. Yes, USS Maine. That was the last one. Okay. Parker, did you know the Lusitania stress broke? I did not. I'd have to look into that a little bit. Maritime history. Wallace Hartley had a third-class cabin, terrible salary, and he had over 4,000 at his funeral. He was a real hero that night. Wallace Hartley definitely was a hero. As far as him having a third-class cabin, I don't think that's true. The way I understand it, the band on the Titanic, they were basically treated like second-class passengers. I don't know all the details. I don't have all the specifics, but I'm pretty sure that they were treated completely like second class. And if they were second class passengers, I cannot imagine them having a third class cabin. I just can't. So I'd say they were all second class. If I am wrong about that, let me know, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Let's see. I found an animal. Wow. What was the closest ship to the Titanic? The Californian. And the Mount Temple was close too. Mount Temple was, the Californian was somewhere between 10 to 20 miles away. I'd say closer to 10 to 15. And the Mount Temple was 50 miles away. And the Carpathia was 58 miles away. Leach, they had second class tickets, but they had third class cabins. Really? Really? I had no idea. Seriously? Hang on a second. Let's see. They had second. What class of cabin did the Titanic's band have? I'm going to Google this right now. Let's see. His ticket number was the ticket for all members of his cabin was no. It says here his cabin was in the second class quarters. Yeah, Wallace Hartley, his cabin was in the second class quarters. So yeah, that's what I thought. That doesn't make sense for them to have a second class ticket and third class cabins. That really doesn't make any sense. But it says here on Google that they had second class rooms. Paul, On a Sea of Glass, buy it. Yes, On a Sea of Glass is the best book on the Titanic. I have talked about it so many times. If anybody is interested in learning about the Titanic, On a Sea of Glass is basically the Bible on the Titanic as far as I'm concerned. This book has everything about it. So I highly encourage you guys to check out this book. So, I mean, you guys want a book on the Titanic, that's the book to get. Mad, Carpathia was closer to 50 miles away because of Vauxhall location. Yes, Mad, you're right. Because the Titanic was about 13 miles off from its position. So, yes, you are right. The Carpathia would have been close. About the same distance as the Mount Temple. We got 10 from Tree Bark. Thank you so much. Hi, Sam. I just uploaded a video on the Lusitania. It would help a lot if you watch it. Also, when Lusitania sank, did any of her boilers explode? And if so, did it affect her sinking? Thanks. Tree Bark, just post a link to that video in the comment section below this stream once it gets archived. So I will take a look at it. And that's debatable if it was a boiler that exploded. I have said that I believe it was the weapons on board the Lusitania that exploded, but it could also have been coal dust. I've heard that as well. But the only thing we know for certain is that there were 2 explosions. And it seems like when the torpedo hit the Lusitania, it seems like the ship rocked a bit, but then stabilized. And then when the second explosion happened, that's when the ship's starboard list got really, really pronounced. And that's when it really accelerated. So I don't know if any boilers exploded, but you have to remember the Lusitania sunk in, 18 minutes? So, I mean, she already had a pretty massive hole. And if you go to the Lusitania wreck, I've heard that you can actually see a trail of coal at the bottom of the ocean. Because what made the Lusitania disaster so much worse was because the ship was sailing, I believe at correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it around 20 knots, maybe 18 knots? But the ship was traveling so fast. And then when the torpedo hit, the ship lost steam pressure so quickly that they didn't have time to try to stop the ship. So the Lusitania is coasting and drifting, but it's still going the same speed. All the while, it's continuing to sink and list heavier and sink by the bow. So I don't know how it could get much worse than that. I mean, the Lusitania dropped like a rock. So I believe the power went out within, 4 minutes? So, but if there was a massive boiler explosion, yes, it would affect the sinking. Uncover 5, thank you so much. Can you do a video on Pearl Harbor commander and how he was made a scapegoat? There was a Pearl Harbor commander made in a scapegoat. I don't know anything about that. Okay, I will look into it. I am planning to do a video on Pearl Harbor, so whenever I do that, I will take a look into that. Uncover, thank you so much for the 5. Okay, guys, I'm going to begin to wrap up the live stream for tonight. I will take 1 or 2 more questions tonight, and then I'm going to conclude the stream. We passed the 1-hour mark. Next live stream will be Sunday at 7:30, just like always. Simply, hi, Sam. There was a 14 and 15-year-old crew member on the Titanic. What were their jobs? I think I have a basic idea. I didn't even know that. I didn't even know there was a 14 or 15-year-old crew member on the Titanic, but I will make a point to research that. Titanic's youngest crew member. I'll put that on the list. But great question, by the way. And I will take a look into that. I didn't even know that. Let's see. Leslie, how old did you have to be to not be able to get into a lifeboat on Titanic? From Leslie. As far as that is concerned, I'm not sure exactly. And there was also a difference in opinion on that. There was I believe a 13-year-old. Was he 13? But it was there was a young kid who was almost denied a seat in the lifeboat by Lightoller, of course, because of a hat he was wearing. Who that was, I can't remember exactly, but it was somebody. I do know that story happened. And I did talk about that in my Children of the Titanic video. But I will look into that a little bit more, and it's debatable exactly what the exact age was. So, But I would say it all depends on what officer you were dealing with as well. If it was Lightoller and you were male, you'd have to be pretty young to get into a boat and get past him. That's all I got to say about that. All right, everybody. Well, hey, I think that's a good point to wrap up everything for this live stream. Everybody who was here tonight, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. Everybody who did super chats tonight, thank you guys so much. You guys mean a lot. And yeah, guys, just make sure you all tune in on Sunday next week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's when I'm going to go live again, just like every Sunday. And if anybody wants to talk to me, please be sure to join the Discord because that's the best way to contact me. All right, everybody. Well, hey, thank you all so much for being here, and you all stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night, everybody, and thank you all so much for all your support.